The Michigan High School Athletic Association is proud to present the Boys Basketball State Final. The Michigan High School Athletic Association Championship State Final are brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award, and by True Value Hardware Stores, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program.
From across the state, teams have slowly moved their way towards Auburn Hills and the Palace, hoping to play for a state championship. Only 8 teams can do it each year. 6 have already played for the state title, and just 2 more remain as our final game comes together here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Hi again, everyone. I'm Rick Berkey, along with Marshall Thomas, Saginaw High School varsity basketball coach, for the Class A championship game between Benton Harbor and Detroit Pershing. Earlier today, 3 state champions were crowned. In Class B, Saginaw Buena Vista defeated Calvin Christian 54-44. Then in the Class D championship tilt, Muskegon West Michigan Christian defeated Sand Creek by a count of 64-47. And then in the Class C championship game, just completed a little while ago, Detroit St. Martin de Porres defeated Ishpeming 55-43. That leaves just one, and it's a biggie. The Class A matchup, Benton Harbor and Detroit Pershing, a game that Marshall Thomas promises on paper at least, and I think everybody expects to be an extremely explosive affair.
Coming into the tournaments, both teams were averaging over 80 points a game. So potentially, we do have a very high-scoring affair.
It's certainly an interesting twist this year in Class A, in that it's no longer the Detroit Southwestern Invitational, at least not for a year. Southwestern had been at the A final 9 of the last 10 years.
Probably makes it a little bit more interesting in the fact that there's no clear-cut favorites. And even tonight, I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite as to who's the favorite to win it.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We hope you are as well. Right now, let's go down to the floor. The 2 gentlemen that will call all the action, and for an in-depth preview, Tim Staudt and John Spooner.
Okay, Rick, thank you very much. Along with John Spooner, I'm Tim Staudt. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have you with us tonight. The first 3 games weren't all that close today, but this one tonight figures to be a barn burner, as they say. This one could go right to the buzzer. Don't blink, you might miss something exciting. You know what's interesting, John? These 2 teams' coaches are happy to have them in a championship game, but I think they both feel they're going to have to play better tonight than when they did yesterday in the semifinals, because they struggled just a bit.
That's right, Tim. Both coaches are very concerned about their shot selection. Pershing only shooting 35% from the field. Benton Harbor gave up 16 offensive rebounds. They're going to have to do a lot better against the Pershing lineup defensively in that way.
All right, we take a look at the action yesterday from the Breslin Center, in which Detroit Northern gave a real struggle to Detroit Pershing. It was a 5-point game, but Pershing managed to come back with a big plays at the end.
Well, you see the inside there. Carlos Williams, our spotlight player. Nice jump shot from the baseline. Here's Willie Mitchell, the sophomore with the steal, gets it up court inside to the player Bergen. He goes in for the nice layup. The next shot you'll see again, Carlos Williams, outside jump shot. That's the versatility of this Pershing offense. They're not just run and gun, but they go outside.
All right, and then here's the final shot from Brian Eccles and Benton Harbor's big win.
64-62, unbelievable. Eccles said, I didn't even know what time was on the clock. I just knew I had to take it.
You know what's remarkable about this matchup tonight? These teams are dominated by underclassmen. There are hardly seniors out here on the floor tonight, and that means that we're going to see juniors dominating the game. Let's start with Corey Childs of Benton Harbor. He had 27 points and 8 rebounds yesterday.
Corey Childs is a remarkable player. You see they're averaging almost 17 points a game. Look at his field goal percentage, 65%. That tells you what type of shot he gets, close inside the hole. Very strong, also the leading rebounder on the team as well.
Benton Harbor only has 1 senior that's really in the playing group. And then Pershing, you talk about Carlos Williams. He's only a junior, had 13 to lead his club yesterday. He's a big-time player, too.
Well, you see in the semifinals, tremendous shooting. Only 13 points yesterday. That doesn't speak well for Carlos. He's a much better player than that. I think you'll see that tonight. probably the best athlete on the floor, Carlos Williams.
Willie Mitchell's only a sophomore. He can get it done defensively for Pershing.
Willie Mitchell's a defensive specialist. You see his points in the average yesterday, 18.6, 8.5 rebounds. This young man does not play like a sophomore. He plays like a senior, and he's going to have a big game for Pershing here tonight.
These teams are 47-3 between them. They've won 5 state championships in the past. This is the 25th anniversary when Will Robinson had that great Pershing team that won over Flint back in Jenison Fieldhouse by 24 points. Spencer Haywood, Ralph Simpson. Benton Harbor's had a couple of great championships. Chet Walker's played there. It just sets the stage for what should be a great matchup here tonight.
A dramatic evening, I'll tell you, Tim. Both teams come in averaging 81 points a game. This is going to be an amazing matchup, and like Tim said, don't blink your eyes because you might miss something. It's going to go right down to the wire, and I tell you right now that one of the things that will be very interesting in this game is who establishes the tempo quicker, Benton Harbor or Pershing.
Yeah, it was end-to-end action yesterday, and this crowd is ready for a big one tonight. So the 1992 Class A State Championship is coming up from the Palace in just a moment. We'll be back with the national anthem and the starting lineups in just a moment.
Welcome back once again, the Palace of Auburn Hills, as we get ready for the Class A championship game between Benton Harbor and Detroit Pershing. Now for the introduction of the starting lineups, let's go down to public address announcer Eric Oferseth.
As we prepare to celebrate this educational experience, we ask that you stand. And gentlemen, please remove your caps as Cherie Smiles of Detroit Southwestern High School sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you. Now let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's game between the Doughboys of Detroit Pershing and the Tigers of Benton Harbor. For Pershing, at forward, 6'7" sophomore, 24, Willie Mitchell. For Benton Harbor at forward, 6'3", junior, 13, Brian Eccles. For Detroit Pershing, at forward, 6'6", junior, 32, Todd Bergen. For the Tigers of Benton Harbor at forward, 6'3", senior, 33, Leroy Harvey. At center for the Doughboys, 6'7", senior, 52, Shawn Hill. At center for the Tigers, 6'5", junior, 45, Corey Child. At the guards, 5'9", senior for Pershing, number 14, Kenneth McIntosh. For Benton Harbor at guard, 6'2", junior, 21, Prentice Magruder. At a guard for Pershing, 6'6", junior, 42, Carlos Williams. And for Benton Harbor at guard, 6'4" junior, 43, Marcus Singer. Head coach of the Doughboys is Johnny Gostin. Head coach for the Tigers, Paul Wilhite. Officials for this evening game, Mark Ditzworth and Dave Sontag. The alternate is Doug McKenzie.
Okay, here we go. Tim Staudt along with John Spooner back here at the Palace in Auburn Hills. There are the Pershing Doughboys. They have won 6 straight games coming in, 17 straight for Benton Harbor. And this game is pretty much, John, rated a complete toss. It was hard to figure. When you talk in the press room with everybody, you had people on each side saying, maybe it's Pershing, maybe it's Benton Harbor, which is, what you hope for.
Well, Tim, I'm going to get all my commentating in now because when this game starts, I might not get another chance the rest of this game to say anything. But one of the things that I think is a real key here is Pershing has a decided height advantage. And when you look at it that way and you think about last night, Benton Harbor giving up so many offensive rebounds, the real key for Pershing, and you see here, the average front line over 6'6", and Benton Harbor, the tallest is, as we pointed out, Corey Childs at 6'5". I think that could play a significant factor. Pershing able to go inside hard on the boards, also establish that inside type game, and if Benton Harbor does not box out and gives up those second chance points, this could be a real key in this matchup.
But Benton Harbor can shoot. They've got tremendous team speed, not that Pershing does not. It's going to be a quick game. We watched these teams yesterday in the semifinals at the Breslin Center, and I'll tell you, it was a track meet in both games and a heck of a lot of fun to watch. So nice to have you with us tonight. This is the culmination of an exciting day here. They've drawn 32,000 fans for the first 2 sessions, and this one tonight will probably be the biggest crowd yet when they're done counting everyone. Now the whistle, Mark Ditzworth from Lansing, the official will throw it up. We're underway, and Pershing will hold on to the basketball here as we get started.
And one of the keys here for Pershing is how deliberate they can be in their offensive sets. You see them on the perimeter looking for the outside shot. Carlos Williams, he missed it, and there's a good defensive rebound, Brian Eccles.
Brian Eccles was 3 for 14 when he hit the winning shot yesterday. Inside they go, that's blocked away. We've already had 2 possessions in the first 20 seconds of the game. Down the floor we come. Inside, there's 3 shots in the first 25 seconds. 4 shots. Basket by Pershing. It counts. Carlos Williams hits it, and he'll go to the line.
And remember what we said at the top. We said Benton Harbor must box out, not give up the offensive boards. That's a classic example here. You see the block shot now. That was done greatly by Todd Bergen. Up court, Willie Mitchell kicks the ball out. He's going to get it over to the sideline, the wing. Now Hill here has the ball. He doesn't get the good shot, but he goes up, might have gotten fouled. Now look at the box out inside. Great offensive boards there by Carlos Williams. Goes up, gets fouled. He's got the chance for the three-point play.
Foul was on Marcus Singer, his first of the game. Just underway, 7:31 left first quarter, and it's a 2-0 game. Benton Harbor was tied at 62 with a good Flint Northwestern club yesterday before pulling it out. Ball out of bounds. That's going to go right back to Detroit Pershing. The Doughboys have coached Johnny Gostin. He has done a great job at that school in his 7th year. His team went 17-0 in the public school league and then lost the championship game to Cooley, 58-55.
And that's the first time in the history of the Detroit Public League that any team has gone undefeated in the regular season. So quite an accomplishment here for the Pershing Doughboys.
And they can make up for losing that game with a victory here tonight. That was the only blemish on the Pershing record. They're 23-1 coming in.
You notice kind of a slowdown type offense here by Pershing. I think this is a good decision. They want to assert their strong dominance inside. Again, there's the offensive board, Carlos Williams.
But the shots won't fall off that rim. A number of teams have struggled inside getting the little chippy shots and haven't been able to make them. And so that helps up Benton Harbor here. Keeps them within 2, and Pershing will inbound the basketball. This is Shawn Hill, one of the few seniors out there on the floor for either club. If you like Benton Harbor tonight, remember they only have 1 senior in their playing group of 8. The rest of them are underclassmen, and their coach Paul Wilhite said they have hundreds of colleges that talk about their team. That's out of bounds, back to Benton Harbor.
That's great position there by Prentice Magruder. He got inside, and Bergen tied it back up into him. You see on the replay here, notice Bergen threw his arm out. Good call by the official.
I'm not sure that it's possible, John. We could see these 2 clubs here next year. You could have a Benton Harbor Pershing final next year because of the dominance of underclassmen in the lineups. Now Benton Harbor's gone a minute and a half, hasn't scored yet. That ball's turned over. It's on the line. Benton Harbor will get it back.
Pershing in a man-to-man type defensive pressure. You notice they're really fronting very hard. The players, one of the things Benton Harbor does very well is they will look for the backdoor play.
Okay, the inside. Boy, there's a lot of contact there. No call. Brian Eccles gets it to fall, and that ties the game at 2. That may establish a pattern of how the officials are going to let this one go a little bit, because we could hear that bang down here. About 60 feet away. Game tied at 2. 6:21 to go, first quarter. Here comes Pershing. The Doughboys, the home of former Michigan State great Steve Smith, played for Johnny Gostin. That shot's off, everybody goes up high, and it comes out of there to the Tigers' Prentice Magruder, and a whistle and a foul. That'll go against Pershing's number 24, Willie Mitchell, his first.
Willie Mitchell, 6'7" sophomore. He's a very aggressive defensive player, considered their best defensive player, but he does tend to get in foul problems, and he's got to be able to be careful, because he's a real key to this defense for Pershing.
But imagine to have the talent that he has and only be a 10th grader. Needless to say, there are a lot of interested eyes on these young people here tonight. Inside, Magruder was going to put that up one way or the other. Doesn't go, and Pershing back the other way. Inside the drive, that one's way off. Here comes Benton Harbor. They got a guy wide open. Here comes Leroy Harvey, and he's going to have to put the brakes on here for a moment anyway.
I'm not sure Benton Harbor knows what brakes are, but you see them now trying to set up a half-court offense.
Magruder goes in, but I think traveling will be called. Yes, it is. That's a turnover. Boy, he had a tremendous layup yesterday in that game. I'd say he had a shake-and-bake layup yesterday against Flint Northwestern that brought 9,000 to 10,000 people out collectively out of their seats.
When you watch Prentice Magruder, the first thing that comes to your mind is he has a tremendous first step on the defense. Whenever he gets the ball, he's a threat to go to the hole every single time.
There's a whistle, and a traveling goes against the Doughboys' Carlos Williams, so back the other way. So we said it'd be a high-scoring game, and indeed it may well be before it's over, but it's 2-2 here with 5:25 to go in the first quarter.
The interesting things about these travel calls is they're always called on the players because they're trying to go to the hole real strong, and that's giving them a little bit of an incentive. They're trying to get the advantage defensively going in, and they're picking up the travel call.
Inside, Leroy Harvey tries to find some help, but comes back to Pershing. The only thing we got a lot of so far are turnovers, and there'll be another one. There'll be another travel. We'll have to get adjusted to these officials' calls here.
That time, Ken McIntosh gave the ball inside to Shawn Hill. You see it, he really should have waited just a little bit longer, gave it the ball too high to Shawn Hill. Shawn goes in, he gets the basket, but it doesn't count. Travel call, good call by the official.
5 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the game so far. Still 2-2. Here's Benton Harbor down the other way. That shot goes flying off by Corey Childs, loose. You got a foul here?
Yep, an offensive foul inside on Benton Harbor. You know, one of the interesting things, Tim, we have really pumped the fact that both these teams score high averages, but sometimes when two teams that have a fast break transition type game come in, oftentimes both of these teams tend to play a much slower type game, and the game ends up being a much lower scoring than possibly either team had had all year long.
That was shot outside, no work, go loose on the floor. And Benton Harbor pulls it down, 2-on-2. The elbow goes out there for a little help on Corey Childs, but it doesn't help him very much. Now in the corner, shot by Marcus Singer is off, and again Pershing pulls it down. A slow start for two clubs who, as John said at the outset tonight, struggled with their shooting yesterday. Off the iron, that one's no good by Willie Mitchell, who gets it back. He's going to try one more time. That one's no good. Good defense, though. And Williams travels with the ball, and Benton Harbor will get it back. That's going to bring our first substitute of the night into the game for Pershing. Number 34 is Theron Richard, a 6'7" senior. You like him.
Well, some people think that he perhaps is the best player on this Pershing squad. Theron has been under some discipline the last part of the season. I give a lot of credit to Coach Johnny Gostin. He said it was for personal reasons. He sat him down. He came back to the team, decided to be more serious about it, and is now a better player.
Beautiful drive by Prentice Magruder, 4-2 Benton Harbor.
Here's an example of that first step by Prentice Magruder, beat the defense straight into the hole.
He's a 6'2" junior, only 150 pounds. Then he gets a steal here the other way. Watch him go through traffic. Finds the open man underneath, and a foul is called. And that'll go against Pershing's Kenny McIntosh.
Starting to see the difference here in this game so far, and that's Benton Harbor's ability to get out in the transition game, beat the defense of Pershing up court, and go in for the strong layup. We talked about Prentice Magruder. He's a key player on this Benton Harbor team, Tim. He's the one that creates, he's the one that starts the initiating the offense, and that time we saw him with a steal, got the ball quickly up court that they do so well. Now an excellent time for Leroy Harvey to convert 2 free throws.
Leroy Harvey Harvey still can't find one to go down. Now into the game for Benton Harbor. Number 31 is DeLeon Isom, and he will check in, as you see, for Marcus Singer, who has 2 personal fouls here in the early going.
So far, neither team shooting very well from the field. Benton Harbor comes in shooting 57% from the field, which is excellent for a high school. It's excellent for any team in particular, and but that indicates the type of offense they have, which is more of a transition-oriented.
Harvey's first point of the night gives it a 5-2 Benton Harbor lead, as you see, and now a whistle. That should be a traveling. I think the floor is a little bit slippery, too, to be honest with you.
Well, you've had 4 games on the floor today, and they had a little bit of a break at times, and I noticed they didn't actually mop or clean the floor, so maybe you're right there, Tim, but again, I think it's the idea that both players want to get that quick first step, go to the hole quickly, and that's causing the turnover.
Well, you better be quick if you're going to be in this one, because somebody's either going to leave you or you'll never get away from your man. Inside, ball turned over, bad one. Here comes Pershing the other way, 4-on-2 break. The Doughboys are going to slow it down.
That time, Willie Mitchell might have got away with another travel.
Shot from outside by Carlos Williams is for 3. A 3-pointer, and that ties the game at 5. Williams now with all 5 Pershing points. Down the other way, quick, off the glass and up and in.
It's Brian Eccles, and I'll tell you, Brian Eccles perhaps is the most powerful leaper that I have seen in many years in high school basketball. Tremendous power to the hoop, and that time he showed us why he's such a strong player.
Once again, Carlos Williams nails a 3-pointer. I guess he'll just keep shooting until he finds the comfort zone, and makes it 8-7, Pershing on top.
Notice Pershing now in a 1-3-1 zone defense, try to shut down the middle, force the ball to the perimeter on the wings.
Here's another 3-pointer. That looks way off the mark. No good. It'll be Carlos Williams out of bounds. And it's off the Brian Eccles, and so Pershing will get it back. You know, the one thing about Carlos Williams' jump shot, John, he gets so high vertically and he has such a tremendous reach. Blocking that is almost impossible from the wing out there.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Tim. Not only that, he keeps his hands real high over his head as well, which makes it even harder to block.
Here comes Prentice Magruder. It's a track meet 3-on-1. Inside, he finds his man. Excellent move to the basket by Corey Childs. He's their big gun. That's his first 2, and it's 9-8 Harbor. Down on the floor inside, there's the fling up off, no good, and now they'll go into a tip drill, whistle and a foul, and the push off.
Again, you know, as we talked about earlier on, the offensive rebounding for Pershing is creating some inside play. Here you see Shawn Hill going up, missing the shot, but 3 times now Prentice Magruder with the steal. This is the last play before. Watch this dish now, excellent read. Childs goes in very strong.
Only a junior, Leroy Harvey picked up the foul for Benton Harbor. That is his first. And for the Harbor, 3 team fouls now. Free throw is up and good.
Well, actually what happened is they gave them all outside. Carlos Williams hit the 3.
See what happens when I look down once. It looks like a free throw. A moment then it's the 3. Carlos Williams has had 3 3-pointers now. And he's got 11 points early in the game. Out of bounds, 1:34 to go. Pershing 11-9.
So far, I think the tempo has favored Pershing. The reason I say that is Pershing is able to do the most significant thing, and that is get the second chance, third chance opportunities on the inside scoring, asserting their height dominance.
Carlos Williams has scored all of Pershing's points so far here in the first quarter. 11-9, his team in the lead.
Well, I tell you, nothing like a young guard like Ken McIntosh getting it inside to Theron Richard, and Theron not having his hands ready. You notice his hands are down by his side, and when you're a big man inside, you got to have your hands up, ready to take the ball. Theron not ready that time.
Nothing very much has been settled here in the first quarter, except that there have been a lot of turnovers, and there'll probably be more to come because of this pace. As I speak, there goes another one. Down the floor they go, and the dunk is rejected away, but the foul is going to be called against Benton Harbor. And that one will go against DeLeon Isom.
See, that was Theron Richard there congratulating Isom on the block and foul.
Just look how high he gets on this. But he fouled him, so, I mean, there's no argument there.
No question about that, but tremendous. Both these teams have tremendous athletes, and that's amazing that time. Both Theron Richards high up in the air. But I'll tell you, DeLeon Isom, only a 6'1" junior, Tim. He's only 6'1". He went up like that. Theron Richard, a 6'7" senior.
There's Johnny Gostin, good shot of the Pershing coach. He's done such a remarkable job in 7 years, 141 wins and 52 losses. Free throw by Theron Richard is his first point of the night. That's the first Pershing player other than Carlos Williams to score for the Doughboys. And as you can see, Marcus Singer is ready to check back in now. And Leroy Harvey will sit down. Theron Richard. Good numbers on the season. That's a double-double right there on the average.
You remember that young man was disciplined for part of the season. He's really come along strong for them. Pershing still with that 1-3-1 zone. It's kind of a matchup when it goes to the corners. They like the trap. Keep the ball outside.
Here's the shot from the corner for three. That one doesn't go. Loose on the floor, and now it comes out to Pershing. Wouldn't fall for DeLeon Isom. Down the floor, move inside. That's a charging call. That'll go against Shawn Hill. No basket.
The one thing about Shawn Hill is sometimes when he goes to the basket, he's a bit out of control. And here you see him a little bit out of control, position established. And that's the thing about Shawn Hill. He should have given it back inside to the middle, would have had an easy layup inside for Ken McIntosh.
As you see, number 24 for Pershing, Willie Mitchell is back on the floor now. Good look at the Pershing bench. Johnny Gostin talking to his Doughboys over there. 39 seconds to go in a quarter. Pershing by 4, 13-9. Big close all the way. Little pop from the side. That one just doesn't fall here for DeLeon Isom, and it comes back to the Doughboys. On the corner, that's a weak shot, but inside, oh, they had an easy cleanup, and then finally it goes back up and in for Theron Richard. Now he has 4 points.
Again, the offensive boards really killing Benton Harbor here in their first quarter.
Inside they go, out of bounds with 6 seconds here in the first quarter. You see the clock. So now Pershing with a 6-point lead will have a chance to expand it to its biggest lead of the quarter. Benton Harbor's been very sluggish here offensively to start. There's Carlos Williams. He's going to get his position. There's the shot off the glass. No, they're going to get him to the buzzer. No, and that is the end of the first quarter. Our score here in the Class A championship game, Detroit Pershing 15, Benton Harbor 9. This is the MHSAA Championship Network.
There are a lot of Benton Harbor fans made the trip over for the state final. None perhaps bigger than the gentleman to my left. I don't mean that literally, but of course, the one and only Sinbad has joined us. Benton Harbor, of course, you may not know, Sinbad's hometown, of course. He's a graduate, played basketball back in 1974. And Sinbad, I got to ask you, in the program back in 74, did it say number 34, bad, comma, sin?
No, 34, I just said bad.
Just said bad.
Just bad.
Well, you're certainly bad, and I know you've been just your 3rd time. In fact, you gave up the Comedy Awards in Los Angeles to come out and cheer for your Tigers.
That's right, man. When I came home and they were playing, Battle Creek Central was rated #1 at the time. I came home and I wanted to see them play. You know, got a chance to see the guys because I had seen them during the summer when we built a basketball court outside for them. So I wanted to come back. I said, if you make it, guys, to the quarterfinals, I'll come back. So I had to do a show that night. I said, you got to get to the semifinals. So I came back last night for that.
Quickly, you got a couple movies coming up. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, one's a live stand-up film. I'll be doing that one. And then I'm going to do a comedy cowboy movie called King and Cowboy.
And your quick analysis of what you saw your Tigers against a very strong Pershing squad in that first quarter.
Pershing is tough, man. They got a couple guys that are really good. Both teams are kind of tight in the first half. I think Benton Harbor, they like to run their break. They haven't really busted out with the break yet, but that's been our history. It comes in spurts, and when it comes, they'll come strong. So I'm waiting for the guys to loosen up. I mean, these young guys are very young, all juniors and sophomores, and they're excited about being here. I think they're going to break out.
Well, I always wanted to say, yo, Sinbad, thanks for coming up.
All right, man, anytime.
Back down to the floor.
Okay, Tim Staudt with John Spooner. Shot from outside from Benton Harbor's Marcus Singer is up and good. You look at the stats from the first quarter. How about those rebounds, John?
Well, 15 rebounds for Pershing. We talked about their height dominance. 9 offensive rebounds. That has been a significant factor in this game for Benton Harbor's.
It's an incredible statistic for Pershing. The Doughboys put up 21 shots. That averages to 84 a game, but 21 in the first quarter. They only made 5, so that 24% field goal percentage does not speak well for them, but they had the ball flying toward the rim. Inside, little turnaround flip. That's not a percentage shot, but Theron Richards, a good enough athlete to knock it down. That's 6 for him, and now it's 17 to 11.
You know, when he was up, it actually looked like he was flipping it down toward the basket.
6-point lead for Pershing now. Benton Harbor is going to have to do something to box out or get on the glass better inside. Oh, almost a 3-point play. And the foul will go against Theron Richard, and that's his first.
Great court awareness by Prentice Magruder. He actually split the top of that zone defense, kicked the ball inside real quick to Childs. And Prentice Magruder, again, is a key player. He's the creator. He initiates the offense. At that time, he got it inside to Childs.
All right, now Corey Childs was held to just 2 points in the first quarter. It's a textbook foul right on the arm. Prevented the basket, but nonetheless puts him on the line.
I think, Tim, if we went back and looked at all the games of this year, I'm not too sure that Benton Harbor has scored only 9 points in the first quarter of any game they've played all year. This is unusual for them, but as Sinbad pointed out in his very astute commentary, they are a very explosive team, perhaps the most explosive team in high school basketball today, and they're able to explode at any time and get a run going at any moment.
Well, they haven't played that well offensively, and they're only 5 down, so that's a big factor. Now Pershing here inside the drive, won't fall at all for Todd Bergen, then it's tipped back up and in.
Another offensive rebound, the 10th offensive rebound for Pershing. Todd Bergen missed his shot, but went back up for the offensive boards and put it in.
First 2 for Todd Bergen tonight inside, little dump off inside. There's Corey Childs, and he knocks it up and in. 5 points for Childs. Let me get him the ball down there and let him work.
He is a great baseline player. By that I mean he takes a great step to the baseline, beats the defense there, and goes up easy layup.
Inside, they try a front inside whistle and a push-up, traveling, no. That's the call first. That's a tough break for Theron Richard, and gives Benton Harbor a chance to eat into that 5-point deficit.
Tim, we're going to see the example here. Todd Bergen now goes up with a shot, might have gotten fouled, but instead he comes back up with the offensive rebound. That's been the nemesis for Benton Harbor this entire half.
All right, shot is missed on the glass, comes out of there to the Pershing Doughboys. Todd Bergen pulled it down. Now Pershing sets up with 5:54 to go in the half. There's Carlos Williams for 3. That's way off the glass, but it bounces out to one of his teammates. Put back. That won't go from Willie Mitchell. Willie Mitchell back. Willie Mitchell up. Willie Mitchell in. His first 2.
And credit there, Theron Richard, for keeping the ball alive for Willie Mitchell to get that shot.
21-14 now. Pershing inside. Childs just gets hammered in there by Todd Bergen, his first foul.
You saw an example there of Corey Childs, tremendous first step. Watch this, he gets inside before Bergen can even get over. That's an example of what Benton Harbor does so well. They're just not able to get in that type of transition game because Pershing has done an excellent job converting off the offensive rebounds.
All right, you see number 52 back in the game, Shawn Hill, the senior for Pershing. And out of there goes Brian Eccles, who if he lives to be 1,000, will never forget that shot he made yesterday to put his team in the Palace tonight.
Unbelievable. Going into that shot, Tim, he was 0-9 from the field. He hadn't made a basket since the first quarter. He comes in and knocks it down, and they win 64-62 over Flint Northwestern. Tremendous semifinal game.
Yeah, and he didn't even know what the clock had on it. He just heard him say shoot, so he obliged him.
All he knew, the buzzer wasn't sounded. That gave him plenty of time.
He didn't need much encouragement, and he got it to go. He had missed 9 in a row, was 3 for 14 in the game. Here's Williams from outside. They've shut him down a bit. Tip back doesn't help Benton Harbor here. Outside little set shot that we don't see for 3, and that will go.
Ken McIntosh, he only averages 3 points a game, and he just got 3 points.
This hit his average, 24-15. There's the steal. Look out for the power, and a foul first. Prentice Magruder prevents a real happening on that glass.
Nice little sportsmanship there by Prentice Magruder. Went right over to Willie Mitchell and said, look, man, I got you a good, clean foul. Good sportsmanship. You see the replay here. Watch Willie Mitchell. Tremendous ball control here. Here comes Prentice Magruder. Excellent call there by the official. No question about the foul.
All right, timeout on the floor. 5:02 to go in the first half. It's Pershing 24, Benton Harbor 15. We'll be right back. This broadcast is made possible in part by True Value Hardware. Videotapes of the title games of the 1992 MHSAA Boys Basketball Finals are available on videotape for purchase for your enjoyment at home. Each game will be available in VHS format at a cost of $32.95. That includes all taxes and handling charges. When ordering, be sure to indicate the class of the game desired. If you want to order, you may do it direct from media to you. That's 2405 East Mount Hope in Lansing. And we'll give you that address a little bit later on again. Checks should be made payable to from media to you and allow 2 to 4 weeks for delivery. Did he hit them both there?
Yeah, he got them both. No surprise. Willie Mitchell 5 for 6 in free throws in the fourth quarter in their victory over Northern last night. The young man does not play like a sophomore.
And Willie Mitchell had 5 key free throws in the last 93 seconds to preserve that win for Pershing. Now it's 26-15 outside. Oh, the big three-pointer falls down for Shawn Hill. And now quickly it's a 29-15 lead for Detroit Pershing over Benton Harbor. The Harbor struggling. They're turning it over. They're having trouble rebounding, and Pershing is putting on a clinic here in the second quarter.
Well, Pershing is now beating Benton Harbor at Benton Harbor's own game, and that's steal, transition basket, easy layups. But credit Pershing team, they just have a great deal of firepower outside.
Aaron Richard hit that inside. Childs has it banged away. Boy, Pershing is on a track meet right now. Down the floor, off the glass. No, and it's tipped out of bounds. It'll go back to Benton Harbor. Paul Wilhite, the Benton Harbor coach, is a little bit befuddled right now as to what to do to halt this slide. In this second quarter, Pershing has outscored Benton Harbor 16-6.
We're going to see the block here by Theron Richard. Watch how high he gets over the rim, knocks it away. Excellent job there on defense. And the real key now, Pershing gets the ball, gets it up for transition type opportunity.
Johnny Gostin, he doesn't have much to analyze or talk about. His team's been doing the job, especially in the second quarter. There's the serious reject, and then a little talk from Theron Richard.
Yeah, but you notice there, Brian Eccles just smacked him on the rear end, and that in street ball is, all right, good play, you got it this time, next time I'll get it. Excellent block there. He looks at him and said, hey, what were you doing coming in here?
Yeah, he said that's going back. And it may again. Magruder inside through a sea of blue shirts, won't fall. And it's pulled out of there by Pershing's Carlos Williams.
Boy, Tim, you saw that time. Pershing just dominated the defensive board. 6 players.
Off the glass for Shawn Hill. That's 2 3-pointers for him. 34-15. What a run. A 13-point run now in here by Pershing. And then just to make things worse, Benton Harbor gets a foul on Marcus Singer. And that's 3 fouls now on Marcus Singer.
When you're a transition-type team, you tend to force the offense when things aren't going well. And Brian Eccles did that time and picked up the offensive foul.
Paul Wilhite wants to talk it over with the Tigers. Timeout, 3:37 to go. Pershing 34, Benton Harbor 15. We'll be back. This broadcast is made possible in part by Farm Bureau Insurance. All right, back here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. How about this, John?
Well, Shawn Hill outside, a good shooter, gets the 3 down, and Pershing dominating outside in this game. Also the transition basket as well.
Boy, they know where to go to find the open man. Beautiful touch here on the ball by Shawn Hill, off the glass and down.
And they call that money in the bank.
Pershing is 12 out of 33. Benton Harbor 6 out of 18 now from the field. They fired up 33 shots here with still 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
The thing about those 33 shots, about 14 of those have come off offensive rebounds.
Inside position, blocked away beautifully, but the putback, that won't go. Loose on the floor, still inside to make the play for Pershing is Theron Richard.
Again, Theron Richard just tearing them apart inside on the offensive boards. Pershing back again to a zone, 2-1-2 matchup.
Off the bench, he has 10 points inside. Corey Childs, that won't go, and it comes out of there, ripped down off the glass by Pershing. Doughboys have a new player in the game here. Number 12 is Robert Tillman, who's in the game now for the first time.
I'm told by the coaching staff from Pershing that Robert Tillman, a 5'11" junior, has the best vertical leap of anybody on the team.
Oh man, you think that's saying something?
I don't know, he just took it to the hole that time, so.
Does that count or not?
I think they're gonna count that one. You can see on the replay here, watch this tremendous step, got away with a little hook there,
no, it doesn't
but he
count.
goes up. No, they waved it away then, huh?
That foul goes against DeLeon Isom. That's his second foul. And so on the line now for a 1-and-1 is Robert Tillman. Another one of those gifted juniors for Pershing. Boy, Johnny Gostin is going to add to his win total with this team in the years to come. And remember, Willie Mitchell, one of his best players, is only a sophomore. It's about the only thing that has gone awry for Pershing here in the second quarter.
I got to think, Tim, that Benton Harbor just doesn't know what's happening. They're really frustrated. That time you got a box-out position there for Brian Eccles trying to establish inside. This is the game right here, Tim.
Well, offensive rebounds, I mean, how many times do you see anything like that? And the second chance points because of those offensive rebounds is the story of the game, in a 21-point lead here in the second quarter. As soon as we said it was going to be a close game, Detroit Pershing took it personally.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, though. This Benton Harbor team, once they figure out what's going on here, they are a very explosive team. They are the most explosive team in high school basketball. I'm not just trying to say that to keep people around to the end of the game, but they are capable of going on 15-0, 20-0 runs, and they have that kind of capability in them. But right now, Pershing is just totally dominating this game in every phase.
Well, Brian Eccles hit his first free throw. He has 5 points now here in the first half, and they run that one down, and then is it out of bounds? It is, and Pershing will get it back.
That is the first offensive boards for Benton Harbor, and wouldn't you know it, he steps out of bounds.
Yeah, not a textbook offensive rebound either, but they'll take anything in a stats chart at this point. But it's a scoreboard that is the problem for Benton Harbor right now.
Again, you got to like Pershing's patience here, taking the ball inside.
Blocked away by Corey Childs, but I think they're going to call him for a foul, and that's a shooting foul. And so for Corey Childs, who has not been a factor very much in this game, that's his first foul. He has been held here to 6 points in the first half.
Well, it looked like maybe it might have been clean, but he might have got the top of his hand also. Farron Richard definitely feels it was a foul, but you got to credit Coach Johnny Gostin here. Tremendous game plan from Pershing. They decided they're not going to run with Benton Harbor. What they're going to do is work the ball perimeter, 2, 3, 4 passes, get the good outside shot going. They're able to do that. Once that happens, Benton Harbor has to come out. When they come out, that opens up the middle. And as we have seen all game long, the offensive boards of Pershing have been the true key in this game.
All right, Pershing now 5 out of 8 from the line here in the first half, 37-16. That equals the biggest lead of the game at 21. Harbor has not had much go right, especially here in this second quarter. 3-point shot outside, no, and once again to get on the glass, it's out of bounds, back to Pershing. It was knocked away from Robert Tillman, and Pershing retains the ball. Now into the game now, as you see, for Benton Harbor, number 15, Garrett Govain will check in. He's only a junior.
Boy, you got to think Paul Wilhite would just like to get into halftime and make some adjustments here. Benton Harbor shooting only 29% from the field, Tim. They come into this game shooting 57% as a team.
What a sweet move inside to Shawn Hill. 8 points for him. Such balance that Pershing has, 39-16. Now the other end of the floor, Benton Harbor, Corey Childs is going to go back after he waits his turn, and then he gets it up and in.
Excellent decision by Corey Childs. Saw that he got Farron Richard up in the air. He waited, was patient, and went in for the easy 2. That is only the second offensive board for Benton Harbor, and the first time they've converted off it.
Detroit Pershing again with a 21-point lead here over Benton Harbor. Biggest lead was 23. Tipped away, nice play defensively. Harbor going down, this should be a dunk. Corey Childs now has 10. Let's see if this is one of those runs you were talking about for the Tigers.
Now notice what they're able to do. After the basket, they can go to the full court pressure.
Problem is they don't have much time left in this quarter. If they could get a couple more here, they'd at least have a little momentum. But with 40 seconds and no shot clock, Pershing can take a little air out of the ball here. Just a little air out of it. Just a little air out of the ball. And that's their best play anyway, just to go ahead and keep firing away at it.
Well, as long as they come up with the offensive boards, it doesn't make any difference. But I want to go back to that previous point that I made. When Benton Harbor is able to convert the basket, now we're going to see inside. This guy is a sophomore, Tim. Look at it, body control goes up. He thinks he's Isaiah here in the Palace. And I'll tell you, again, offensive board work. Benton Harbor picking up a foul in here. Now Shawn Hill going to go to the free throw line for a 1+1.
Prentice Magruder picked up the foul. That's his second. And so on the line now, who's played a superb game here in the first half, Shawn Hill. 2 3-pointers en route to an 8-point first half, and he'll shoot 2. Well, Benton Harbor's going to have to do some searching in that locker room at halftime because it's going to take more than yelling to get them back in the game. Pershing is a balanced, well-oiled machine, as you've seen here. And Shawn Hill, loose on the floor, and it's out of bounds, and they're going to give it back to Pershing. Benton Harbor never went after it.
Tim, that is the story here in the first half. Nothing has gone right for Benton Harbor. That time they almost had a chance off the offensive tip to get the defensive board. It goes off Corey Childs' hands.
Well, they have hit 25 points here in the second quarter to 11. 25 to 11 second quarter for Pershing. Close for the first 8 minutes. It's been all Pershing since then. You can see the clock count them down. Little double pump job from 18 feet, whistle and a foul. That'll be a push-off with 4 seconds to go, and that one goes against another one of Pershing's new players, Nathan Hurst, who's in the game. It's nice when you can play all those guys in the first half of the state championship.
Well, not only that, but it gives the Pershing team a little bit of a chance to rest, because I'm telling you, Benton Harbor is going to make some runs here. And one of the keys I'm sure that Coach Paul Wilhite's going to tell the team at halftime is said, look, fellas, we can score 10 to 15 points in a row if we really work at it. And what we need to do is be very deliberate on offense. We've got to get the baskets to fall. If they fall for us, we can get into our full court pressure, maybe force some turnovers.
That one's no good by Eccles. Comes loose here with 2-1 out of bounds. You know what was amazing about Pershing? Carlos Williams scores the first 11 points of the game. He hasn't scored since then, and they've just been running it up.
Well, they have a great ball team that has good balance on their team. All the fellas can shoot over 10, 15 points a game. And that last time, I thought Brian Hayes for a minute there, Tim, was going to take a shot at the Benton Harbor basket. And then he passed it off and it went out of bounds.
And that's the one that would have gone in. At the buzzer, no. And we come to the end of the first half of the state championship Class A game for 1992. It has been all Detroit Pershing. The Doughboys looking here for their third state championship. Our score at halftime is Pershing 40, Benton Harbor 20. We now pause for this word from your local station. This is the MHSAA Network.
The Michigan High School Athletic Association Championship State Finals are brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award, and by True Value Hardware Stores, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program.
Halftime of the Class A state championship game. Detroit Pershing started a little bit slow, but they got it going. Benton Harbor, Marshall Thomas started a little bit slower. In fact, they really didn't get it going until the final couple minutes of that first half.
By that time, Pershing had it really, really in gear. Right now, it seems the difference seems to be Pershing's height. They're getting second and third shots at almost every time they're shooting the basketball.
And you know, in most situations, 20-point game at the half of state final, and we can say, well, let's look ahead to the next one. But I don't think too many people here think this one's over, even with a 20-point advantage for Pershing.
Definitely. Now, both teams are too explosive in order for this game to be over with this soon. We've got another exciting half of basketball.
All right, again, it's 40-20 in favor of Detroit Pershing. This broadcast is made possible in part by True Value Hardware. Welcome back to the Palace. You see Pershing with a 20-point lead over Benton Harbor at halftime of the Class A final. Now for a very special award ceremony, let's go down courtside. Our public address announcer, Eric O. Forseth.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention to center court, where Eric Federico, athletic director at Trenton High School and member of the Michigan High School Athletic Association Representative Council, will make a special presentation. The Charles E. Forsyth Award is presented annually by the Michigan High School Athletic Association to individuals who have achieved excellence in service to the interscholastic community. More information about the award and this year's honorees may be found on page 16 of your souvenir program. We are pleased to present this year's recipients at this time. The first recipient is William Maskell of Kalamazoo. Mr. Maskell has been involved in high school sports for 39 years, most of them at Galesburg Augusta High School, where he served as a teacher, baseball, basketball, football, and track coach, and also as athletic director. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill is the winningest coach in Michigan high school football history. With 273 wins, 84 losses, and 2 ties. The Michigan High School Athletic Association pleased to present the Forsyth Award to William Maskell. The second recipient is Thomas Mashanik of Muskegon. Mr. Shannock spent 35 years as a teacher, coach, and athletic director at Owasso and Muskegon High Schools. 10 years as basketball coach. His track teams at Muskegon once went through 5 undefeated seasons and his cross-country team posted a streak of 27 consecutive dual meet victories. Thomas was instrumental in the addition of 7 different boys and girls sports to the prep athletic scene here in Michigan. The Michigan High School Athletic Council is pleased to present the Forsyth Award to Thomas Mashanek. Congratulations to William Maskill and Thomas Mashanek, recipients of the 1992 Charles
to both Thomas
Forsyth
and
Award.
Williams. Forsyth winners, very, very deserving recipients of those very high honors. Right now I'm being joined by the executive director of the MHSAA, Jack Roberts. And Jack, let's get right to an issue that a lot of people are talking about. The MHSAA, of course, became involved in a controversial situation this year when the Statewide Athletic Directors Association asked to consider a proposal relative to out-of-season competition. Why were school people so concerned that they sought for statewide regulation?
I think the athletic directors were concerned about over-specialization by young people out of season or year-round. They were concerned about pressure by coaches on kids to play in their sport year-round and bypass perhaps spring sports of schools like baseball and softball and track and field. And some schools were having difficulty fielding baseball and softball and track teams in the spring because the children had chosen, because of the coach's pressure, some outside programs. And of course there's the issue of fairness. Is it fair for one team to be playing year-round when other teams don't? So we were asked to look at the issues for those kinds of reasons.
Now, since the athletic directors passed the resolution last March, the MHSAA has been busy obtaining input from a number of different interested parties. That information was presented to the legislative body of the association just yesterday. What came out of that meeting yesterday?
Well, the council has rejected the idea of any blanket prohibition on what students can do out of season. The council does not want to interfere with what an individual student chooses to do, but may become involved in what coaches and team units do out of season. The council reaffirmed the principle of local school control of athletics, but also reaffirmed the role of schools coming together through the association to study those issues that they seem not to be able to control locally, and that's really what we're about right now.
Now, you're in your 6th year as executive director of the MHSAA. You've always said the emphasis was on sportsmanship, safety, and the proper perspective or scope, if you will. How would you assess the state of high school athletics in Michigan now?
I think we've made some great progress in some of these critical issues that are always bothering school sports. I think we've made some progress with sportsmanship, with our Good Sports Are Winners Award, and with educational activities and with rules enforcement. I think we've made some efforts with regard to scholarship through our Scholar Athlete program that is second to none in the country. I think we have some work to do in the area of safety, head, neck, and knee injury prevention in football, excessive weight loss in wrestling we've got to work on, performance-enhancing drugs, the spread of communicable diseases in athletics, particularly in wrestling. We're concerned about these things and have some more work to do.
And finally, this is the 3rd and final year of the current deal with the Palace having the finals here. Exactly where does that stand as far as the future of the state finals?
The representative council of the association will determine in May where the finals will go for boys basketball for the next several years. It may be at the Palace. We're quite sure that Michigan State University and Breslin Arena there are interested, and we'll just have to look at such things as capacity and cost and parking and housing and those things that make a good event and make the best decision in May.
Well, again, officiating also one of the concerns for the future, and a number of fine programs coming up right now in the future, especially one for some high school officials I just learned about today.
That's right. We have an opportunity for 17-year-old seniors to register and work 7th and 8th grade games beginning next school year. They must work with an approved official, but it'll be a great opportunity for them to learn this avocation of officiating and give us a good pool of additional talent for officiating in the years to come.
Well, thanks, Jack, for joining us once again.
Thank you, Rick.
We're at the half of the Class A final. Pershing leads Benton Harbor 40-20 here. Stay with us. This broadcast is made possible in part by Farm Bureau Insurance. You look out at the Palace, where thousands of people have enjoyed high school state championship basketball action today. We're at halftime of the Class A final with Pershing leading Benton Harbor by a count of 40-20. And for an analysis of that first half of action, let's go down to the floor. Once again, Tim Staudt and John Spooner.
Okay, Rick. Well, along with John Spooner, I'm Tim Staudt. 40-20 was close for one period, 15-9 in favor of Pershing, and then they blew it open there in the second quarter with a 25-11 run. We've got to look at some of the first half highlights here, John, and I'll tell you, there are a number of highlights we could have picked from Pershing.
Well, Tim, without question, here's an example. Pershing outside shot, three-pointer goes down. Tremendous outside display by Pershing here in the first half. The second opportunity we see again is another three-point attempt. This is off you see Magruder there with the kick down inside, goes outside. Shawn Hill picks the ball up. This is the one off the bank. This is the one that was in the money.
He made the first 11 points of the game for Pershing, and then he never really did much offensively again, but he didn't have to. They've got so many other guys.
Well, no question about that. And also, now you're going to see the inside play as well. Pershing not only can go outside with a three-point bomb, but they can go inside with a tremendous move. You watch the power jam down inside by Shawn Hill. This is an example of their tremendous athletic ability. He goes up, hammers it down hard. That's just tremendous there by Shawn Hill.
Okay, now it was interesting when you look at the statistics, there really aren't all that glittering for Pershing in many respects, but the rebounding is just incredible when you look at the difference there.
Unbelievable. 29 total rebounds in the game, and out of that, 13 of those are offensive rebounds. And we said at the beginning of the game, Benton Harbor cannot afford to do that, and they have done just that here in this game.
Well, Johnny Gosselin certainly has to be very pleased with the way things have been going for the Pershing team. Williams, as I said, the first 11 of the game, then Richard equaled him, and Hill has 9. There's 31 of Pershing's points. And on the other side for Benton Harbor, their leading scorer is Corey Childs, but he really didn't do much in the game until the last couple of minutes.
Well, the last couple of minutes, he got some good dunks inside because he got the feed from Eccles. And another important thing for Benton Harbor, they must be able to score and convert. That will allow them to set up on their full court pressure.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments, if any, Benton Harbor has been able to make here for the second half. Otherwise, it's going to be a big Pershing Doughboys state championship. They've won this title 3 times before. They're looking for another. All right, we now pause for this word from your local station. This is the MHSAA Championship Network.
Welcome back to the Palace. The second half of action in the Class A Championship just about to start. We're at our home away from home up in the suite. We appreciate the hospitality of the Palace and Bill Davidson and the folks here that let us use their facilities. And right now, Marshall Thomas down by 20, 40-20. Benton Harbor trying to catch an outstanding Pershing team. But if your game plan is already press and run and gun, what do you do to turn it up a notch when you're behind?
I don't know if they necessarily need to turn it up a notch. They probably do need to press to create more opportunities for them to be able to come back.
All right, let's go down to the floor. John and Tim.
Okay, gentlemen, here we are right in front of our broadcast center here at midcourt at the Palace. And Pistons play here with San Antonio, and that took Pershing 3 seconds to score, John.
Well, Tim, I was just about to say that the first 2 to 3 minutes in this half are critical for Benton Harbor, and Pershing goes down and scores an easy transition layup.
3 seconds at 7:57. They had their first basket here in the second half, and it came from Kenny McIntosh, who now has 5 points. Pershing looking for a big one here tonight. Beautiful arching shot is up and good by Todd Bergen. It's 4 for him, and it's quickly 44-20. You know, John, I thought the 67 Pershing team with Spencer Haywood, Ralph Simpson was the greatest team I've ever seen. They won 90-66 over Flint Central and Timmy Bograkis, and that was a good team. But I'm not sure at this point spread. It's already, 24, and that's what it was that day 25 years ago in Jennison Fieldhouse.
Amazing little deja vu action here for Pershing. But the other thing about it, Tim, you pointed out earlier, this is a very young Pershing team. Most of them will be back next year.
Let me tell you, they could play with a number of small college teams with a talent they have, and I'm not sure Benton Harbor couldn't either. But they're going to have to play better than what they've played tonight.
Now that's an example of what Benton Harbor must do. They've got to crash the offensive board. It makes no difference now about picking up and getting foul trouble. They've got to go in hard. When they miss the outside shot, it is not hitting. Look at Brian Eccles. He goes up, he mixes it, follows his shot up. Excellent play there. Gets fouled from behind by Shawn Hill out of position. But that's what Benton Harbor must do to get back into this game.
Shawn Hill's first foul of the night. So on the line here is Brian Eccles with 5.
Coach Paul Wilhite, I'm sure, talked to his players and tried to get them into a mental psych position, saying, fellas, look, here in the second half, let's make this a game. Let's break it down into 4 quarters. Let's play 4 minutes each quarter and try to build the lead back. Let's eat up 6 to 8 points each of those quarters and try to get back into this game.
Okay, now the Pershing Doughboys back down the other end with their big lead by 22 points. Inside, loose on the floor. Do we have the turnover? Yeah, and Benton Harbor comes away. They got a 4-on-3 break here. Eccles is going to take it downtown to Prentice Magruder, and he finds a little space and knocks it in.
Well, that's a great first step there by Prentice Magruder. We said it so often now. Now Benton Harbor's got a little bit of an opportunity here to make a little mini run, as we talked about.
It would certainly bring the crowd back into the game, and this crowd expected a much closer game. Who didn't out here? Beautiful turnaround shot is up and down by Carlos Williams. That's 13 points for him. He scored the first 11 of the game for Pershing. Those are the first 2 since then. Off the glass, no Pershing running the other way. Todd Bergen ahead with it. Carlos Williams, he's looking for help. That one was forced a little bit. But when things go right for Pershing, they go right. It's their night. Willie Mitchell cleans it up and puts it in 6 for him.
Again, another offensive board. Benton Harbor going so hard to the ball, they just failed to box out the far side people.
Well, you've got to understand, Benton Harbor came into this game. This isn't a chopped liver team, folks. They've won 17 games in a row, and they play in a very tough area of the state. Got loose on the floor, comes out of there again to Pershing, Shawn Hill. You know, Pershing can just relax and have fun now. I mean, everything's gone their way, and with the lead that they have to work with.
Well, they can't relax too much because Benton Harbor is very explosive and they can come back quickly.
Corey Childs, that's 12 for him, 48-26.
I find it interesting, Tim, we're not seeing the normal full court type pressure from Benton Harbor. They're dropping back and playing a sagged inside man-to-man type half-court defense.
Now a whistle traveling is called. That one's against Willie Mitchell. He didn't like that call. And I got a couple of, let's see, does he see his feet here?
I think this is going to be the steal. Yeah, this is steal by Brian Eccles. You see him take the ball all the way up court. That's what Benton Harbor needs to do more of in this game. Try to get back the points in chunks. They don't want to get it back all at once. If they can get 6 points back here, 8 points back here, they'll be back into this game by the 4th quarter.
Brian Eccles has got some trees around him. Can't quite get it to go out of bounds. And is that Pershing's going to get it? Just really wasn't much room there for him to put the ball in over the top. Beautiful view of the Palace, where we will have a crowd here for the 3 sessions nearing 50,000 people on this state championship day.
Well, tremendous testimony to people in their viewing of high school athletics, and it's a real credit to these teams that have been here all day today as well.
I think it's great, too, John, that they use the 2 big campus arenas for the semifinals, and they call it the Palace, and it's a glittering place. That's an offensive foul. And it is called against Carlos Williams, his 2nd turnover. Benton Harbor gets it back.
Yeah, like Brian Eccles there. He wasn't sure he was going to get the call, so he did a little acting job and kind of, well, this is the home of Bill Lambier, so maybe you'll see it. Watch this now. Eccles just kind of throws himself back. It was an excellent call by the official, but he put a little bit extra into it to make sure the call would go his way.
Okay, here we go. Benton Harbor back the other way. Harbor isn't nearly as sharp as it was yesterday against Flint Northwestern. That's for 3, and it's good. That's a 3-pointer. That's the first 3-pointer of the game for Benton Harbor. Dalian Isom has his first 3 points, and now it's a 19-point game.
Dalian Isom is the 3-point specialist. He's shooting 48% from the 3-point range. If he can get into this game outside like that, then Benton Harbor is going to be able to make a run.
And a long run that's going to be a marathon to do it. But nonetheless, they do have talent, as John has alluded to, and they've made runs before in this tournament.
Notice the type of game now Pershing doing, all perimeter outside, working to try and get the inside.
Inside whistle, and he's fouled, going to the hole. One-on-one move initiated by Pershing's Willie Mitchell. Gosh, to think that kid's only a sophomore is mind-blowing. The Detroit school kids have to face him for 2 more years.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about Pershing, there's a tendency to let up a little bit. That time you saw no defensive pressure on the shooter, and the shooter able to knock it down. Dalian Isom, as we said, 48% from the 3-point range.
Okay, on the line now. Here, take a good look at Willie Mitchell, only a 10th grader. Already 9 rebounds in this game. We still have 3:49 to go in the 3rd quarter. Willie will not have to worry about getting itch from his socks up near his knees. Willie's socks are down there.
Sometimes I think Willie's socks might be in his pants if you look at his shorts dropping down all the way too.
50-29 now, 21-point game. Inside, Eccles leaning into him. Boy, there's no call there, and there was some contact. Loose on the floor. It might have been a break for Benton Harbor, too.
I think it could have gone against Brian Eccles, their offensive charge, but Benton Harbor just simply not able to do the things that they have done all year long coming into this game.
Good shot of the Palace here from behind one of the baskets inside. Nice drive up and in off the glass by Carlos Williams.
Benton Harbor has given up the baseline all day long, Tim, and when you do that, you're going to expect other teams to score.
All right, a whistle and a foul. That'll go against Pershing. Put Benton Harbor's Corey Childs. He was fouled. Carlos Williams has the foul. That's his third. Only the third team foul, however, and so Benton Harbor, I don't believe that's a shooting violation. Yeah, they'll take it out of bounds underneath the basket.
You know, I sit here and wonder, Tim, maybe if the semifinal last night that Benton Harbor won 64-62 over Flint Northwestern hasn't taken more out of them than we might think.
There's another three-pointer by Dalian Isom, so he's 2 for 2 from there, and that makes it 52-32. Now, I thought about that too, John, except that when they used to play the A games in the afternoon, they'd had less than 24 hours, but they've had a whole day, you know, a day and a half here to get ready. I just think Pershing has just been so tough on the glass. They got so many good players.
Well, tremendous athletes, both teams, and Benton Harbor has not been able to show that. Now, that's a big call right there. That's going to be an offensive foul on Willie Mitchell. Again, Brian Eccles drawing the call there by the official. You see on the replay here, watch Eccles gets position, establishes himself. Williams throwing his hand out a little bit. Good call by the official.
Used the elbow for a battering ram, knocked his man out of the way. He goes out, and as you see, Kenny McIntosh. So it's still a 20-point game. It's been 12-12 here in the third quarter. Mitchell with those 10 rebounds to 4 for Eccles of Benton Harbor.
I still find it very interesting after Benton Harbor converts that they are not going into the full court pressure.
Isom misses that one. Here comes Willie Mitchell with a rebound now. Pershing up courts the ball in a hurry.
Not only does Pershing have good athletes, Tim, but they're able to handle the ball very well. They've got 5 good ball handlers on the court now. And that allows them to do this kind of slow-down offense just to take time off the clock. They know that Benton Harbor is very explosive. They do not want to get in any kind of transition game now. They'll just work the ball around trying to get the good shot.
Now there's no shot clock to worry about in the high school game. This is a little different look from Pershing. Down to 1:50 to go in the third quarter. As I say, it's been 12-12 the scoring here for each team in this period. The second quarter was the problem. Pershing outscored Benton Harbor 25-11. Now it's out of bounds. Is that a turnover? No, they'll give it back to Pershing. 1:38 to play in the third quarter. Well, this is the final game of the 91-92 season. Gosh, we've had some great basketball all the way back from December and some great games in this tournament, as we do every year.
Great ability here by the Pershing team handling the ball out top court, especially when you think that these fellas are juniors and sophomores doing that. And they're taking time off the clock. Benton Harbor not really being able to get any kind of defensive pressure, forcing a turnover. Therefore, they're not able to convert. This is exactly what Pershing wants to do.
Well, the crowd's anxious to see a little something more here, and now we get a foul. Well, Pershing managed to execute a bit of a ball control stall, and I'll tell you, that'll wear both teams out chasing each other on the floor. As you see, the call goes on Corey Childs.
That's only the second team foul for Benton Harbor. Toward the end of the game, Tim, if they think about coming back and putting players on the line, they're going to have to get a little bit more team fouls before they can do that.
Shot is up short, tipped up and in beautifully by Shawn Hill. So he has 11 points now, and it's a 22-point game again at 54-32. Team that's averaging more than 80 points like Benton Harbor is. Here the Harbor's inside a minute with 32. Blocked away beautifully. They're going to call that goaltending. I'm not sure if that's a good call. But that ball will go for Brian Eccles. He's going to get credit. Tell me, is that still on the way up?
Well, here we got Willie Mitchell going up with the shot. Shawn Hill laying it in over the basket. This is the play previous to that block. See the block here. I'm not sure about that one.
Not sure either. But I'll tell you, Benton Harbor needs it. It's a loose pill on the floor. Benton Harbor gets a steal. 3-on-1, 4-on-1. Inside, Corey Childs rams it up and in. That brought the crowd to its feet.
Well, if nothing else, Benton Harbor sure looks good. And now the official's going over, talking to Prentice Magruder a little bit and saying, look, don't get too anxious about that kind of play. Excellent job by the officials. Now they're bringing both players together saying, let's shake on this, fellas. We don't want this to get out of hand.
I'll see you on the next dunk.
Great job by that official.
Good look away pass by Magruder inside Corey Childs. He can get up there. He's only 6'4". Crowd sees it on the replay here. 54-36. Here he is one more time. Bingo. Long pass down the floor. This could be a reversal of fortune. Foul first.
Amazing body control by this sophomore. Watch what happens when he gets the ball. He knows he's going to get fouled. He gets hit on the arm, and with the left hand, he just scoops the ball up in the air, almost gets it to drop. Amazing body control. This kid is only a 6'7" sophomore. He'll be back for Pershing for the next 2 years.
Brian Eccles has his second foul for Benton Harbor, and that'll send to the line Willie Mitchell, who has 8 points here tonight. Now back into the game. Comes Marcus Singer. I haven't seen a whole lot of action tonight because he got those quick 3 fouls to begin the game.
And Marcus Singer is one of the better outside shooters for Benton Harbor, coming in averaging almost 12 points a game.
They have basically traded points here in the third quarter. It was a 20-point game at the half, 40-20. And now it's 54-36. That's a first miss by Willie Mitchell after 4 successful conversions.
Willie looks over at the coach and says, well, coach, it's not a tie game, so I don't have to worry about making them.
Benton Harbor can breathe a little life here the last 26 seconds. Down the floor they come. Singer's shot. Here's Childs. Childs puts up the 8-footer. That one, those shots fell at Breslin Arena yesterday. They all went in the hole for Benton Harbor. Not tonight.
It's amazing just how cold Benton Harbor has gone. A team shooting 57% for the year. Field goal has just not been able to get it down to that.
Todd Bergen knocks it in. 6 for him, first 2 in the second half. We're back to a 20-point margin again. Out of bounds, and Pershing will get it back. So all that work by Benton Harbor here in the third quarter just produces a 16-16 standoff. At the buzzer, Willie Mitchell, no. We have come to the end of the third quarter here at the Palace, the Class A championship game. Pershing 56, Benton Harbor 36. Let's pause now for this word from your local station. This is the MHSAA Championship Network.
Welcome back to the Palace, where Detroit Pershing has held on to its 20-point lead over Benton Harbor as we go to the fourth and final period. I'm being joined right now by John Suzuki. He's the Vice President of Sales for the Detroit Pistons. And John, we talked a little bit earlier with Jack Roberts about the association here. What's been the Pistons and Palace organization here reaction to having the high school finals here in 3 years?
It's tremendous. We're tremendously pleased to host this event. The excitement and enthusiasm that the schools bring here. You can see the thrill in the kids' eyes to play on the same court as Isaiah, Dumars, Michael Jordan. It's like every kid's dream to hopefully come back here someday as a pro also.
What about the special challenges that you know is encumbered when you bring on the high school finals other than you would put on normally for an NBA game?
Well, this is really 3 events in one day for us, and it's a lot of work, but I tell you, everybody from top to bottom on our staff really enjoys this day. It's great to have the high school teams in here.
We appreciate the Pistons and Palace helping out in this cooperative venture. And thanks a lot, John.
Thank you. We appreciate the efforts of Jack and John Johnson also.
All right, back down to the floor.
Okay, here we go, fourth quarter. You saw that graphic, more than 15,000 in here for the A game, so more than 47,000 fans here for the 3 sessions, that is. The D&C were a combined house this afternoon. They did more than 16,000. 3-pointer from the corner, no. That's put back up and in by Corey Childs. That's no, and a whistle inside. And that foul, I believe, goes against Pershing's number 32, Todd Bergen. That's his second personal foul.
This may be an example of a little bit too late trying to do the right things. Benton Harbor getting good position for the offensive boards. But I will say this, Tim, if there is a team, notice the position inside. Good job, excellent call by the official. I'm surprised a little bit why it's not a shooting foul.
And Pershing ruins the whole thing for Harbor and steals it away, and a beautiful steal it was, too, by Todd Bergen.
That's the way it's been all game. Benton Harbor will do something, Pershing will come right back and get the ball.
Well, it was tight for 1 quarter, and it was 15-9. Pershing was in front, but they only got that 6-point margin near the end of the quarter, and then they just blew it open. There's a foul on Corey Childs, who certainly hasn't given up. He has 3 personals now. 14 points Corey has tonight. He averages 18 per game and had 27 last night.
You know, the other thing that Rick was talking about doing it from the Palace of Auburn Hills, Tim, is tremendous television producing support here. You know, it's awfully great to have a team that's used to doing the Pistons game being the producers here for high school basketball. Just a great credit to Pete Scorch and Jim Sobchak and Jeff Morrill. Just an excellent job here by the television crew.
There's a shot and a drive inside, and that one's up and in by Shawn Hill. That's 13 points for him, make it 58-36. And a whistle and a foul. And that one goes again against Benton Harbor.
Benton Harbor as a team has just got to be shell-shocked. They just really do not know what's happened to them in this game. Only 4 times all year have they been held under 67 points.
That was Willie Mitchell with his 4th foul, but again, the shots just will not fall in here for Benton Harbor. And down the floor comes Pershing.
Their lowest out point of the year, Benton Harbor, was a 44-point loss to Battle Creek Central, and they might equal that here in the state finals.
Here's a whistle, travel turnover, and it'll go back to Benton Harbor. And a whistle and a timeout on the floor. Pershing's going to stop the clock here with 6:53 to play in this Class A championship game. Pershing 58, Benton Harbor 36. We'll be right back. This broadcast is made possible in part by True Value Hardware. Back here at the Palace in Auburn Hills, this telecast is a copyrighted production of the Michigan High School Athletic Association. No reproduction of the pictures or the accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA. Tim Staudt along with John Spooner here at the Palace. 6:53 left to play in the game. Benton Harbor will inbound the basketball, trailing by 22 at 58-36. We've got a couple of college basketball finals in overtime. Duke beat Kentucky 104-103. And Indiana today defeated UCLA 106-79. So Duke and Indiana go to the Final Four. Billy Childs on the turnaround shot, knocks it up and in.
Well, you mentioned that about the reproduction rights, and I'm not too sure that Paul Wilhite wants any reproduction rights from this game.
58-38 now, 6:31 to go.
The game now becomes a matter of pride for Benton Harbor. They're a team that has just simply been stung. And most of these fellas, though, Tim, they will be back next year. They will remember what happened. Last year, they were knocked out of the semifinals by Northern. They come to the finals this year, and they look like they might get beat here by Pershing. And I say that tongue-in-cheek, but they will be back again, at least doing something in the tournaments next year.
Craig Geert, number 23, is into the game for the first time for Benton Harbor. There's Eccles in around his man. It just won't fall, and he had position there. That's going to put Pershing down the other end, and there's a foul call. Boy, I'll tell you, as we have said, Pershing's Shawn Hill can just sky to the moon, and he was stopped that time by Prentice Magruder, and that's his 3rd foul.
Anytime Shawn Hill gets the ball in the wing like this, you know what he's going to do. Look at that. That's just amazing. Great camera work there by John Brunn. But Shawn Hill has been a tremendous player going to the hole, strong, 6'7" senior. And he is the one player on this team, Tim, that will not be back next year. So this is really sweet for Shawn Hill.
He has 14 points now. There's Paul Wilhite, the fine coach at Benton Harbor. He was disappointed tonight, but when you look at his roster, and he's only losing 1 or 2 guys in the playing group at the most, and the rest of them are back. And on a team that's 24-2, but this ends a 17-game winning streak.
6 of the top 8 players for Benton Harbor are all juniors. And like you said, they will be back again, heard from in Michigan basketball next year.
Benton Harbor tied for first place in the Big 8 Conference with a 12-2 record. Down the floor, Pershing, here's another foul. And that one will go against the Tigers' DeLeon Isom. That's his 3rd foul.
DeLeon Isom, he went up against Theron Richard before and picked up the foul. Look, a nice dish there inside by Bergen. Goes up, no question about that call. Little talk here at the action at the end, but Theron Richard kind of backed off. He knew he was going to get the free throws. DeLeon Isom, only a 6'1" junior. Richard, 6'7" senior.
11 points for Theron Richard. As you get a look at Mark Ditzworth, the official here, hand the ball over to the Pershing basketball star. Pershing now has 60 points. Well, Benton Harbor has had some off back. Now, in their opening game, as you see here, in the rebounding department, it's just been domination. It's too early in this quarter, and the game's been out of reach, so it really doesn't mean much here.
Well, the second half was a bit deceptive on that. The first half was the key. It just blitzed Benton Harbor. Benton Harbor got absolutely no transition buckets. Nothing was going down for them. That time they get a good lead-in jumper, but it's just a little bit too late.
Corey Childs is going to end up with some good numbers here. He has 16 points. Benton Harbor was held to 44 points in its opening game in a 51-44 loss at rugged Battle Creek Central. But they've had all their scores high in the 70s, 80s, 90s since then.
Well, like we said, Tim, they've only scored under 67 points 4 times all season. 2 of those were losses there, and one of them was the victory last night, 64-62 against Flint Northwestern. But Benton Harbor just simply not used to this, and they will be fortunate here if they can get above 50 points.
Leroy Harvey has his second foul for the Tigers. Down to 5:17 left to play. Well, stay with us afterward. We'll have some interviews with the winners, watch the medal presentations for both teams, and kind of recap this entire day for this 92 state championship day at the Palace. So on the line now, Shawn Hill. John says this is his last game at Pershing High School, and he's going out in style.
You know what I find interesting, Tim? We highlighted the underclassmen, as we pointed out, such a great youthful team, but isn't it interesting? Here are the seniors, Shawn Hill, Ken McIntosh for Pershing, playing such a tremendous game. Their last game as seniors, they want to make sure they go out well. Whoa!
Well, on the steal, Willie Mitchell goes in quickly and has 10. Now it's a 23-point game again. Trouble with kids is, even with a big lead, they just don't want to stop playing hard.
No, they go at the hole the whole time. I think the real question there for Willie Mitchell was, when he went up, was he going to lose his shorts?
Well, he didn't. And he got the big dunk. 4:49 to play, 63-40, Pershing. These two teams scrimmaged each other before the season began, and Paul Wilhite, the Benton Harbor coach, told me his team hung in there tough against Pershing. He knew this was going to be a great team out of Detroit, and he was right.
This is an excellent, outstanding example here by Pershing of tremendous ball control in every way. Great dish there. That's Ken McIntosh, the senior, going to the sophomore. A little bit of the passing of the baton. Ken saying, look, this is my last year, Willie, but you got 2 more years to go. Do the same thing.
Well, that's 12 for Willie Mitchell. Inside is a basket count. No, that's a turnover. 4:17 to play. Well, it was an interesting development here, John. We thought this was going to be a very close game because we had a lot of people both ways. After watching Benton Harbor yesterday, I honestly didn't think there'd be anybody could beat them, but I hadn't seen Pershing, and Pershing didn't play nearly this well yesterday.
No, Pershing didn't, and Coach Johnny Gostin from the Doughboys said exactly that in the press conference. He said, we played terrible, and they did yesterday, and they came out today and demonstrated why they're going to be the top basketball team in the state of Michigan.
This tells you how good Detroit Cooley is. A team that got knocked out, the #1 team in the state of Michigan by Detroit Northern. Then Northern gets knocked out by Pershing. That tells you how good these clubs in the Detroit City League were this winter.
Absolutely. Cooley, the only team that has beat Pershing all year long. Pershing going, of course, 17-0 in the Detroit Public League. The first time any league team has ever done that.
Inside, oh, they're going to end up, oh. That would have been the Thunder dunk. Ruder in the corner, there's the offensive foul. I mean, there's just no place for Leroy Harvey to go. He has not been a factor in this game tonight. In fact, he's only scored 1 point, and he was a good player in yesterday's game against Flint Northwestern. Now we're down to 3:35 to play.
That's Leroy Harvey's 3rd personal foul. Leroy struggling in this game. He's the only senior for Benton Harbor that starts. This is his last game, and just not been a good type of game for Benton Harbor. Now we're going to see Benton Harbor with full court pressure, and quite honestly, Tim, they have not done this the entire second half, and that's been a bit surprising for me. I would think Paul Wilhite would want to put pressure all over the ball.
There he goes. Well, we may see him next year, and we may see him the year after that here, too, Willie Mitchell. Going to have a lot of college scouts interested in him. Down the floor, all the way, and he lays it up and in. That's Kenny McIntosh. 7 for him, 67-40. Stolen away one more time. It has been a Pershing Doughboy night, and the school that produced Spencer Haywood and Ralph Simpson and Steve Smith. This team has made those guys proud tonight.
Tremendous defensive abilities by this Pershing team. Great anticipation. They do not react, they anticipate. that's what every coach teaches his high school player. Don't wait to know. Make sure you anticipate and get in the passing lanes. And Pershing has done that so well against Benton Harbor.
Inside 3 minutes to play now, 67-40.
Here we go!
Away, and is that a charge? No, that's a block, and the basket will count. And that one goes for Shawn Hill.
You got to look at this first step of Shawn Hill. Just an amazing burst of speed. He goes inside and takes it up hard. He thinks about jamming. Good body control after he felt the foul. The basket counts. He goes to the line for the three-point play. Shawn Hill, a senior, Tim. He will leave this team, but he'll leave it with a definite legacy for years to come.
Well, you can see the Pershing kids all celebrating, and they haven't had too much to worry about tonight. This was a game for one quarter. If it happens in the Super Bowl, you get unexpected blowouts. I guess it happens here too. Not many close games today. There are 4 dominant winners in this tournament. Saginaw Buena Vista, Detroit DePorres, Detroit Pershing, and Muskegon Christian. Inside layup by Garrett Govain, his first 2 for the Harbor tonight, 70-42 now.
One of those times in the game where both teams kind of wish it was over right now, but they still got to play some more. You don't want to get too sloppy. This is also a time where players tend to get a little bit too aggressive and maybe get some injuries.
Inside off the glass, no, out of bounds. It goes back to Benton Harbor. So the benches are cleared.
It's interesting. Willie Mitchell's coming back into the game. I guess he talked the coach into letting him come back for one more dunk attempt. I bet Willie's mom told the coach, let him back in one more time.
Shot from the corner won't fall. Here's Magruder inside, left-handed, that won't go, and then he gets it back. Try it again right-handed. That won't go either.
I think that was partially blocked there by Theron Richard from behind on Magruder.
Then the foul goes, just to rub salt in the wound on Marcus Singer, and that's his 4th. I never thought this would have happened watching this team yesterday.
No, this is a big surprise, no question about it. But it is a credit to the coaching staff of Johnny Gostin by Pershing. He obviously did his job when he scouted Benton Harbor. He shut down the inside game. He went and crashed hard the offensive boards. He used the height advantage that his team has so much on the front line, and that worked to perfection. A great game plan here by Pershing.
Well, there's one advantage here, John. It won't be tough getting out of the parking lot. That's been a problem here in the past.
Oh, it certainly was a problem after the U2 concert for sure.
Oh, I hear the guys in my headset saying, hey, it's better now. Well, it's going to be great tonight. 71-42. Carlos Williams hit the first one, and he has them both. So now it's a 30-point lead here for Pershing.
Our producer said in our headphones an excellent point about what will happen with Benton Harbor for next year.
Well, they'll win about 26 and get back here again, probably.
I think this is going to be an interesting learning experience for this Benton Harbor team. It's going to teach them an awful lot of character. And Coach Paul Wilhite, he may not want to watch the videotape of this game, but he will remind the players of what it was like and how it felt. And next year when they come back, they will definitely be on a mission.
Well, they're going to know this summer when they go to the camps, they got a lot of work on yet. They're not the dominant team in Michigan. Timeout on the floor. We're going to get some other players in with a minute 25 to go. 72-42. We'll be back. This broadcast made possible in part by Farm Bureau Insurance. Tim Staudt with John Spooner at a quickly emptying Palace tonight. Here's the scoring here in the second half. As you can see, it's now 32-22 Pershing. Pershing has just been dominant all night long, John.
Well, Benton Harbor in the third quarter tried to make a little mini run, but you can't make any kind of run when you only even up the points that both teams score. But without question, Pershing has been the dominant team here in this game, both inside and outside, and Benton Harbor just simply has not been able to get anything going. It's been one of those nights where nothing falls, nothing goes right all game long.
Now the ball's loose in the play. Well, if you joined us late today, the best game of the day was that Class B game this morning. Grandville Calvin Christian and Saginaw Buena Vista. It went right down to the last minute. It was in down, and then Buena Vista won by 10 points. DePorres was a solid team in Class C today, defeating unbeaten Ishpeming rather handily. And Muskegon Christian in Class D had little trouble winning by 17 points in its game this afternoon over Sand Creek. Here we're down to the final 65 seconds. little spin move inside, and then that one's tipped back and in by Pershing's Courtney Love, 74-42.
Both teams now really doing a lot of pressure on themselves, just wanting to get this game over with. The game ending like it started with. Pershing getting an offensive board the last time down. They're able to empty their bench now.
Well, 40 Julian Simpson checks into the game. Must be tough to be sitting on the end of the bench, John, at Pershing, realizing that all these young guys that are going to be so dominant in the years ahead.
Well, it's tough until they put that medal around your neck. Then sitting on the bench doesn't really feel all that bad. You can say, hey, I play with these guys all the time in practice. I'm a practice player, but I'm what's made them good to come out here in this game.
There's a whistle and a foul. That'll send Pershing's Terrence Parker to the line, so he's going to get a chance to get in the scorebook. Johnny Gostin has 16 players listed in the program on his roster, so he's got plenty of guys to work with. One thing for Benton Harbor, they're not going to say, gosh, if we'd have just done this or this. I mean, they're going to go home with a great season, a 24-3 record, a trophy. They were runners-up. They played in the Palace, and they might be here next year.
They very well might be there. Paul Wilhite, the coach, is certainly going to try and just tell the fellas, look, we earned our way here. It's one of those games. And he's got to believe that hopefully this can't happen 2 years in a row, because I fully anticipate a Benton Harbor team like this, and as you pointed out earlier, Pershing, to be somewhere close to the finals next year as well. Both these teams tremendous. We have not seen the true Benton Harbor team displayed here in the state finals.
How about your last guy on the bench here? Tim Peoples is a 6'8" bulky senior. Probably as graceful as a lot of these other guys. But on this team, you got to be mighty good to get a lot of playing time. Inside 20 seconds now. Well, I'll tell you, this is going to be the lowest point total for Benton Harbor this season if they don't score in the last 11 seconds. As I say, in the opening game, they lost 51-44 at Battle Creek Central. They have 42 points. They're averaging more than 80 a game. This will be their lowest out point of the season. And that one looks like it. Let's see, can Benton Harbor tie it? They're going to stop and fire.
Last second shot.
They might count it. I don't know whether they did or not, but that's the final score. It's still going up as 74-42. The Detroit Pershing Doughboys are the 1992 Class A state champions, and they certainly earned it here today. Let's pause now for this word from your local stations. This is the MHSAA Championship Network.
Welcome back to the Palace. You see the Pershing Doughboys celebrating the Class A state championship. Our final champion is finally crowned. And Marshall, I tell you, there were some questions at different times here. Who was the #1 team in the state? I'd have to say Pershing deserves to say that now, probably louder than anybody else, because they proved it. They truly have earned the Class A state title, and especially in most impressive style here in the championship affair.
I'd have to agree with you. Based on their display tonight, they would be the #1 team in the state.
All right, now for the award ceremony, let's go down once again to public address announcer Eric O'Forseth.
Ladies and gentlemen, before the presentation of the championship trophy and medals, let's acknowledge these two fine teams for their achievements this year and their play here today. Benton Harbor and Detroit Pershing. At this time, we direct your attention to center court, where Nancy Clark, assistant principal of Carmen Ainsworth High School in Flint, a member of the Michigan High School Athletic Association Representative Council, will make the award presentation. First, let us honor the runner-up in Class A for the state of Michigan, the Tigers of Benton Harbor. First, we will present individual medals. For Benton Harbor, 11, Kenneth Harrington. Number 15, Garrett Govain. #23, Craig Jarrett. 25, Omar Shabazz. 31, Elian Isom. 35, Derek Kiles. 41, Chris Sanders. 51, Jarrell Cole. 53, Curtis Williams. 55, Michael Davis. 13, Brian Echols. 21, Prentice Magruder. 33, Leroy Harvey. 43, Marcus Singer. 45, Corey Child. And accepting the runner-up trophy in Class A, Coach Will Height. Congratulations to the Tigers of Benton Harbor on an outstanding season. And now for the 1992 Michigan High School Athletic Association Class A State of Michigan champion, the Doughboys of Detroit Pershing. First, we will present individual medals. Number 4, Terrence Parker. Number 10, Brian Hayes. Number 12, Robert Tillman. Number 20, Andre White. Number 22, Damon Moss. '30, Rodney Anthony. '34, Theron Richard. '40, Julian Simpson. '44, Nathan Hurst. '50, Courtney Love. '54, Tim People. Number 14, Kenneth McIntosh. '24, Willie Mitchell. '32, Todd Bergen. '42, Carlos Williams. And 52, Shawn Hill. And ladies and gentlemen, accepting the championship trophy in Class A, Coach Johnny Gostin. Congratulations to the Doughboys of Detroit Pershing, the 1992 Class A Boys Basketball Champion.
An elated Coach Johnny Gostin and the Pershing Doughboys celebrate their first state championship. since 1970. Well-deserved one it was, as they soundly defeated an outstanding Benton Harbor Tiger team by a count of 74-42, finishing up our final game of action here. We'll come back with a word with the winning coach and players. This is the MHSAA Championship Network.
The Michigan High School Athletic Association Championship State Finals were brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award, and by True Value Hardware Stores, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program.
Back at the Palace again. Let's go down to the floor one final time, and Tim Staudt and John Spooner.
Well, it was an exciting day here at the Palace. More than 47,000 people saw two champions from Detroit, one from Muskegon, one from Saginaw. John Spooner, we enjoyed it. Some great talent. And the thing that's so great about it is that a lot of it's going to be back and maybe back here in the Palace next year.
Well, we opened up talking about the young players, but it was the seniors, Shawn Hill, Ken McIntosh, Theron Richard, that did the job for Pershing tonight.
All right, John, enjoyed working with you. For all the crew down here, our statistician Barry Smades, for John Spooner, I'm Tim Staudt. Rick, back to you. Thanks for giving us a great day. It was sure a lot of fun, even if all the games weren't all that close.
All right, thank you very much. Fine job, Tim and John. We certainly enjoyed working with you throughout the day. And Marshall Thomas, I know we enjoyed working together. We take a look at the winners here in Class A. Detroit Pershing just completed. In Class B, Saginaw Buena Vista, Detroit DePorres in C, and Muskegon Christian in Class D. Thank you again, Marshall. Great working with you.
I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed it very much.
And we enjoyed the fact that you folks joined us here. Goodbye from the Palace.